So we're going to talk about things to look into when getting a Razor bike, and it's very simple, and I just want to make you guys aware of what you should be paying for these things. If you go on Amazon, you can probably find like the MX500 or 650 around the $400 to $450 range when it goes on sale. The SX seems to be going for like about $500 on Amazon, and the RSF is still going for near $1,000. I would highly go against paying those prices, especially if you're looking to modify these bikes. Now, a few things to look over when finding the bike of your choice is very simple things. It's usually, we're going to talk about the brakes, the forks, the chassis. For us adults who are into these things, I highly go against getting the MX350 only because it is tiny. I'm a short guy, I'm 5'5", and I'm at a good height for the MX and SX chassis, even the RSF, but the RSF itself is a very small bike for what it is. It's the smallest of the bigger suspension bikes, and this one's only a bit bigger because it has a MX front forks and wheels on it. They usually sit a lot lower, and when you sit on it, the way the suspension geometry is on it, it spreads out the wheelbase, so the bike sits way further down as well. But when you're looking into these bikes, obviously there's a couple of things to consider. That is, what are your plans with the bike? If you want to do like the Vivor kits and batteries and stuff like that, you can get these things for pretty cheap. So a lot of the times when you find them online, they don't have like good batteries, and that's okay because you're gonna toss them out anyways. Do not run the SLA batteries. It's just a waste of time and money. Go straight into lithium. At least do a 48 volt, and if your throttle and controller and motor is good on the bike and you just want a basic, like a little power adder for the bike, just go 48 volt. You're gonna get way longer ride times, and the bike overall is just gonna perform way better with some more torque and more speed. Now, if you're looking into the MX platform and the plastics are all sun faded or broken like they usually are, don't worry, you can hop on Amazon and get new plastics, and all you got to do is just order the ones for the CRF50. They're extremely cheap, anywhere between 25 to 50 bucks, and you can even get them with the seats. I ordered mine without it, but I will be moving to the CRF50 seat. Handlebars, if they're all rusted and chipped up and stuff like that, you can order some pit bike handlebars. Go with the 7/8 bar that fits on there, and you can chop these down to size if need be. I just have mine still at the big wide length. As far as the brakes go, once you start getting into like a 48 volt setup with like a brushless motor and you're hitting that 30 to 35 miles per hour, you're gonna want to upgrade. So previously I had Zoom brakes on my bikes. They're good. It's about $100 to bolt them on, and that's like the calipers, the levers, and the rotors, and they're good for that. But once you start jumping up closer to the 40 miles per hour and higher, then you're gonna need bigger brakes. So as you can see here, I'm running CRF50 brakes on mine. You can at least do the back one, and that's gonna run you about 80 bucks for the whole rear setup. Now, me personally, I have never paid more than 100 bucks for a bike, and that's because I like wrenching on these things. So if you got some basic tools, you can really take apart this whole entire bike. Just a basic set of Allen keys and sockets. You could take it completely apart. As far as wiring goes, you gotta have some basic knowledge in that, but it's still not that difficult. Now, a couple things to look into with your bike as far as wear items when upgrading these things. I would highly suggest checking out the tensioner. So you want to see that it springs up freely without hesitation, so you know the spring is good and is not bound up. Check out the condition of your chain. Make sure it's oily and not rusty. That way you know at some point it's been lubed and is in good working condition. When it comes to the front forks, a lot of these bikes tend to have rust on them like that. Just see if it's surface rust and go from there. If they're like really rusty, especially the wheels, I would highly suggest upgrading at some point rather sooner than later. I did hydraulic front forks, and that's a whole nother issue in itself with the springs in here just getting all messed up and stuff like that. But you can do a hydraulic fork setup that's about, let's just say, $250 installed, and that's going to bring you up from $150 to $250, about $400. And even with that in itself, that's going to replace, you know, all the basic wear items and what usually goes on a bike. Another good thing to check is this freewheel in the back. So you want to see that it locks up pretty well and doesn't spin on the wheel. If it spins on a wheel without the wheel moving, then you know the freewheel has some issues there. You're gonna have to replace that. Now, replacing it doesn't cost much, but the work involved is a little bit of a hassle. You can also weld the freewheel. That's what I'm running on this bike. So you can see here, it's welded up, but that's more of a, I would say, an experience thing with these bikes. Changes a bunch of the response and the wear on the bike itself. But yeah, guys, if you're looking into modifying these things, the MX platform, you can cheap out as long as the chassis is good. You're gonna want to look at like the bushings, like in here, play with the forks, like I said, the brakes, if you're gonna upgrade them or not. But I wouldn't expect to pay more than $150, $200. If you're looking at RSFs, they usually go for a lot more, around 300 used to anywhere up to like 600-700, and that's for unmodified. These bikes modified for some reason are priced around $2,500, and they're usually not even half that is invested in the bike. So just be aware of what you're getting yourself into. I will say right now is the time to get into these things before they skyrocket. The prices of these bikes are going up tremendously because the hobby is blowing up. I was even watching prices right this morning, and the first thing they gave away was 2 SX500s where the person had to guess the price, and that was priced at $1,400. So yeah, but if you guys have questions, let me know. If you're looking into getting into it, get into it now before it's too late. And with that, guys, let me know what you think, and if you have any questions, drop it down in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.